I want to say RWRH.
Rose was really hot. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Dr. What?
You seem really flabbergasted there.
Well, I'm flabbergasted by this episode, I think.
All right. First thing is a question for you. I do have questions for you.
Oh my god, you have questions for me too?
I do. I was wondering, like, what you thought when you saw the recap at the beginning was, like, for the long game.
I was a little confused, I won't lie. I remember I was watching Top Chef with my mom, and then I was like, oh, I should probably go and watch Doctor Who right now. I'll be like, you know, then I got my laptop out, and I was watching it while she was on the couch. And I remember being like, why are we watching this recap right now? Like, why isn't it the recap for the last episode that we just watched? Like, did I click on the wrong episode? And then I was like, oh, it's because we're back on Satellite 5. Like, gag. Like, so annoying. I was a little annoyed. But then I saw that we were doing the game show stuff, and I was like, oh, yay, yippee, game show. And I forgot all about Adam in the long game. So... But anyway, today's episode that we're covering is the first part of the two-part finale, Bad Wolf, which that one scene where Rose is like, Bad Wolf, where have I heard that before? And then like flashes back through all the scenes. Like, I'm just remembering all the times you were like, did you catch the Bad Wolf reference?
I know.
And now I'm like, wow, it all came back. It was very important. You were right.
I mean, like, good for them. They're tying it all together, but I'm kind of pissed because I forgot that they had, like, a whole flashback sequence. I like, what was the point of me pointing it out then? Has my work been for naught?
Well, it's more rewarding for everybody who actually paid attention and pointed it out and saw it, because now I can be like, oh my gosh, yes. It's just like Sara said. And you can be like the overlord of the Bad Wolf spottings.
I'm okay with being an overlord. Okay, it's fine.
Yeah.
Everything's fine.
Exactly. And if you were on a quiz show where you had to name every single time that Bad Wolf showed up, you would not be incinerated.
You are the weakest link. Goodbye.
Dude.
That's what she said.
Have you seen Jane Lynch is the host of Weakest Link now? And the way she says it every single time, she's like, you are the weakest link. She's amazing. She's everything.
Bro, if Sue told me that I was the weakest link, I can't even say it on air. Are we on air?
Oh, we're on air. We've been on air.
Okay, yeah. What does on air mean?
Well, so that used to be a term that meant like for the radio, right?
Right, yeah.
Radio wave. I'm making that up. I don't actually know why the term is on air.
We're on the waves and on Jane Lynch's. Anyway.
Yeah.
What was your favorite part?
Anyway. Well, we have to give a synopsis for the boys and girls at home and
oh my god,
non-binary twirls at home.
My brain got so scattered by the thought of Jane Lynch. Sorry.
Separated and with no TARDIS, the Ninth Doctor, Rose, and Jack have to fight for their lives on board the game station. But a far more dangerous threat is lurking, just out of sight. The Doctor realizes that the entire human race has been blinded to the threat on its doorstep, and Armageddon is fast approaching.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, it's an okay synopsis.
Yeah, I don't really feel like they missed anything. Well, anyway, I have 3 fun facts.
Okay, what are the fun facts?
So, the production team originally intended to show Jack's naked buttocks on screen. The scene was shot, but the BBC's editorial policy department stepped in and vetoed it, the only time they overruled the production team during the 2005 series.
That's crazy that they would not give us Jack Harkness ass.
I literally typed in my notes, in all caps, show his ass. I want to know where that footage is.
Especially since he makes that joke where they're like, where were you even hiding that thing? And he's like, you really don't want to know.
Yeah.
Like, we can't even...
Show us the cheeks.
Show us the fatty, the cake, if you will.
Like, yeah.
Serve it up on a porcelain platter.
Because they, like, ogle him, like, so much in this episode. Like, Rose and the doctor are, like, fighting for their lives. And it, like Jack's whole scene, like, his whole thing is just, like, being naked and, like, touching robot boobs until the very end.
No, exactly. He had, like, a walk in the park. I was watching it. I was like, damn. Like, they kind of let him off easy. Just because he's the pretty boy. Like, what?
I'm fine with it.
I'm sure you were fine with it.
As long as they show his cheeks. Oh, yeah. No, yeah. I was more than fine with it.
Oh, my God. This is just a quick sidebar, but there have been polls going around on Tumblr that are like, who would be the best companion to get a drink with or like to get drunk with?
Yes.
And I just reblogged it from my friend Teu, friend of the podcast, Teu, Sarcastic Sargassum, if you're listening. And the comment in the tags, it was like, well, you know, Jack and I could have a couple drinks and then he'd redacted. Like, literally typed out redacted in brackets, and I was like, dude? I mean, I'm not saying it's not real, because Jack Harkness is Jack Harkness, but I was just like, wow.
Redacted.
Woof, you know?
That's really funny. All right, the second fun fact. This one, I am so glad that I saw.
Mm-hmm.
So, the doctor tells Linda that he didn't pay his television license, which she says is a capital crime. To viewers outside of the UK, this is a relatively obscure reference, referring to the annual fee levied in the UK on each active television or video recording device per household. The collective revenue is used primarily to fund the British public television service, the BBC, which produces Doctor Who. Did you know that?
Yeah, I did, actually. They are very, very strict about you paying that
How
fine.
did you know that?
They will, well, my aunt, she lived in England for a while because she was an archaeologist and she was doing a few digs.
That's amazing.
But anyway, she's told me about, like, how strict the BBC are with their... they'll literally, like, they'll come to your door. They'll knock on the door and they'll be like, right, you got to pay a fine for the British Broadcasting Channel,
Bro.
or whatever the hell it stands for.
If some British idiot came to my door and said some shit about me needing to pay my fucking television fine, I would kill him. Like, you don't tell me what to do. That's some socialist bullshit. I feel obligated to, like, play up the American stereotype.
Please. They say Americans are bad with, like, their fees and their services and whatever, but the BBC is crazy.
Yeah, that's insane. So, last fact. The music that is heard as the Dalek fleet is revealed includes a chorus singing "What is Happening" in Hebrew. Isn't that fun?
In Hebrew?
Yeah.
Why did they pick Hebrew?
I don't know. It's I don't know. Kore. It's MAH space KOR apostrophe EI.
That is so interesting. I wonder why they chose to do that and not, like...
Latin.
Like, what is that supposed to imply?
Yeah, it's kind of weird. Song fucks, though.
No, it did serve and slay. I won't lie. I was like, oh, okay, bump it up.
Yeah.
Ooh.
No, I...
Get it? Exterminate.
Exterminate. I love the way that they, like... emphasize, like, the second syllable. It's...
Yes.
I just wanted to say, I guess we're gonna go into best part and worst part, because I just wanted to say that a really big thing for me was the music. I love the Dalek theme so much. Like, I spent so much time listening to the score for Doctor Who, like, as a kid, that I didn't even, like, get rid of the blue Dalek visor eye thingy and, like, all the other little hints they had that it was the Daleks that were the big bad. I just needed to hear that music, and I would immediately, I knew, like, oh yeah, Daleks. Like, I just, like, that song to me, their theme is, like, so iconic, and I love it.
That's awesome. I love that was a giveaway for you. That's amazing. I mean, the music in Doctor Who in general, I remember us talking about in the Father's Day episode, how beautiful the score and the sound design is, but it was really, I mean, stepped up. I think in this episode it was quite good.
Yes. What was your best part?
Oh, my best part?
Yeah.
I mean, okay, so little known fact about me, or perhaps big known fact about me, is that I love game shows. I am always watching the Game Show Network at my grandmother's house. Like, I love Jeopardy. I love Chain Reaction. I love Classic Concentration. Big fan. And I love The Weakest Link, both iterations. I don't remember what the host's name in the old one, but in the new one, it's Jane Lynch, as I said. And she is so delightfully nasty, you know? Of course, she's not vaporizing people, but she might as well be with her, like, comment. She's like, well, Janice, you're as dumb as a doornail.
Oh my God.
And you are the weakest link.
I love her.
She's amazing. And I remember when we finished episode 10, on the website that I use to watch, it does like the little preview, and I remember getting so excited that they were gonna do a weakest link parody thing in this episode, but I could not have imagined that they also did, What Not to Wear and Big Brother. Like, I loved it. I thought it was the perfect amount of like cheese, but also high stakes, whatever. Having 3 going on at the same time, having our heroes split off, that I was like, I gotta love this. This is amazing. Like, especially when Rose has that moment where she's like, ha ha ha, like, I know what this is. Like, I watched The Weakest Link. And then she literally condemns a woman to die by voting her off.
Dude.
The switch was crazy. And it should have been ridiculous, and it kind of was, but it was like you could feel... It was palpable, the terror at that moment. I thought that whole conceit was really good.
Yes. I am so glad that you're a fan of game shows, because I knew the Big Brother reference, and I know what The Weakest Link is. I had no idea what show they were referencing with Jack, and the first time I watched it at 13, I didn't know any of the shows. I knew what they were going for, like the concept of deadly game shows, but like... Yeah, my knowledge is really limited when it comes to this, so I'm glad that, like, you were able to, like, see it and appreciate it and, like, share it, because I would have been totally lost.
And look, I mean, honestly, What Not to Wear is a little bit more obscure. It was first a UK reality show, and then they made an American version, kind of like The Office. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, really classic staple of, like, the early 2000s to the... early 2010s, like a TLC type show.
Okay.
Yeah, but Big Brother is actually the only one that I haven't watched myself. What Not to Wear, I've seen a few episodes, and Weakest Link, I watch a lot of Weakest Link. But Big Brother is so, like, in the cultural zeitgeist that it's kind of like, oh, of course. And it makes sense for, like, the whole controlled by the media effect that they were going for in the episode.
For sure. I feel like... I don't know what I feel like. I forgot what I feel like.
Whoa.
I don't know, man. Okay, I was a little baked when I watched this episode, actually. So, like, everything was so funny to me. Like, when people were dying, I just couldn't stop laughing.
Oh my God, Sarah, that's terrible.
No, like that scene where, like, the woman is hysterically crying during The Weakest Link and Rose is, like, laughing her ass off. I was, like, laughing along with Rose. I was like, this is the funniest shit. And the more the woman cried and the more Rose laughed, I was like, this is the funniest thing I've ever seen in my entire life.
Wow.
No, but in the beginning, like, there's, like, spinning. Like, it's flashing back to, like, how they all got, like, zapped into the game show, and... they're like, the doctor's looking up at the screen and it starts spinning really, like, fast. It scared me really bad.
Oh, no. Beam of have a terrible high.
I wrote down in my notes, like, I'm so scared.
TWS, that was scary. Have you heard of this trend called nyming?
No, what? What's that?
Okay, it's when you make an acronym of everything. So... Right, because you're nyming. You're acronyming. So, whenever something's really scary, you can just say, TWS, that was scary. TWRS, that was really scary. And you could have benefited from nyming in that situation.
Nyming.
But anyway, what was your best part other than the music, or did you have... another one, or do you want to go into worst part?
I want to say RWRH. Can you guess what that nym is?
RWRH. Rose was really hot.
Yeah! Oh my god!
It's because our minds are melded.
We're like on the air. We're like, yeah, we're on the waves.
We're on the waves together, on the air. Oh, it's like that scene in Good Omens when Crowley goes through the telephone line and he becomes like telephone particles. Do you remember this? Never mind.
Yeah, of course I remember that.
Oh, I'm so glad. I'm so glad. This is because
What
we're
do you
always on the
mean?
same page.
What do you mean?
I don't know. I felt like you were silent for a minute and I got scared. TWS. But anyway, Rose, hot, speak on it.
Dude, that scene, just like the whole weakest link scene, where she's like, okay, yeah, fine, I'll play. Like, I'm playing to win. Like, she's like so silly. Like, like, I was going crazy.
Dude, she was so cute. And I loved, oh my God, that one bit when she had, Roderick, the other guy, like, they were doing the like head off. They were the last two ones.
Yes.
And they were like trying to do it and she kept getting ones wrong. But when she did the face of Boa's face of whatever, she answered something that I was like, oh my God, that's from a previous episode. Do you remember this?
Yes, I do. This is another fun fact that I like didn't include, but it's in my brain, so I may as well share it. People on the set, maybe it was like the director, some guy was like, what would make this really authentic is if we like switched up the questions. So I think like as they were answering them, it wasn't the questions that they were supposed to be answering, like they changed it from the script. So the actors just like didn't know what was going on genuinely.
Oh.
And I remember thinking during that scene, like, Rose looks terrified. Like, she looks so... Billie Piper did an amazing job in this episode.
Yes.
But in that scene in particular, you can really feel, like, the confusion and, like, how scared she is. Like, it's so good.
That's amazing. So that could have been genuine then, like her remembering that from the previous episode that she was at, like legitimately Billie Piper being like, oh my God, I know this one, like Face of Beau. That's awesome. I love that piece of trivia. Ugh, I love trivia games. This is the best.
Yeah.
Wow. And she even looked hot as a pile of dust.
Dude, oh my God, that pile of dust, like, got me down bad. I'm, like, pulling on my shirt, like, trying to cool myself down.
When the doctor was, like, trying to pick up the dust, like, just staring at it despondently. I'm like, oh, why is this a little...
What? I am like, okay, our wavelengths have like diverged. Like, I don't know what you mean.
I am so joking right now. I am not being serious at all. Oh my God, that would be really scary. TWBRS.
He's like glancing around over his shoulder to see if like anyone can see him as he like sensually like runs his fingers through the dots.
Help! 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 He would though. He would.
He would. I wanted to say, like, going off of that, though, I loved, like, the doctor and Jack's, like, differing expressions of grief. Like, you see the doctor just, like, fall to his knees and, like, pick up the dust, and Jack just starts, like, fucking screaming. Like, he is, like, so mad.
Yeah.
I don't know if he definitely didn't drop an F-bomb, but it totally felt like he did. And that was great. I think they should have let him say fuck, but that's neither here nor there.
Honestly, they wouldn't show his ass. They wouldn't let him say fuck. Like, what is the point of having Jack Harkness in your show if you're not gonna let him, trash it up a little?
That's so true. What was your... Actually, no. I'm not gonna ask you that right now because I have one quick thing to say.
Okay, yes.
I loved the design of the Big Brother house. It was so, like... insane looking. I loved it. And
yeah.
I also have one more thing to say, very brief. When the doctor is like talking to the TV in a bid to get to like the overlords of the station, and he's like, I'm gonna find you. Imagine being just like a normal person, like sitting on your TV watching Big Brother, and some guy like looks directly at you and says, I'm gonna find you. Like,
And that guy has the same, like, intensity and force of will as Christopher Eccleston. That'd be crazy. I think I'd, like, throw up and cry.
yeah. Like, we're talking about getting so high you get scared. Imagine getting so high you get scared, and then some guy on your TV, like, looks directly into your eyes and says, I'm gonna find you.
I'm sure you were very scared.
Well, no, I wasn't scared because it was like a TV in a TV. But like, if I was in that world and it was just my TV, I'd be scared.
Yeah, that's fair. I do want to say about the Big Brother house. I mean, I guess not about the Big Brother house, but about Linda. I thought it was really interesting. I don't know if you agree with me on this or if you saw this too, but the way that the house was set up and the way that the people were styled, especially Linda, I found it was very reminiscent of the way that Rose and like people from her time in London are styled, and them kind of like flirting a little bit when he broke her out of the house. I was kind of like, what's going on there? So are you just gonna say shit to any baddie with low-rise jeans and like a zip-up hoodie? Are you gonna just like flirt with anybody that you see that's kind of like Rose in that way? I don't know. I was a little like,
I didn't notice the similarities with Rose, although now that you mention it, like I can kind of see it. And yeah, I was kind of like weirded out by the whole thing with Linda. Maybe not weirded out, but it was like, who's she? And who are you? And what are you doing? Like, what's the point? Like, you just, like, ugh.
Whoa, woman hater moment from Sara Trainer over here.
No, I love women.
You love women whose names are Rose, last name Tyler.
I also love women whose last names are Tyler, first name Jackie. So jot that down.
Very real. Okay. I'll concede. I'll give you that one. But I did feel kind of distrustful, like, of that scene. Maybe not of Linda specifically, but I definitely felt distrustful of the doctor in that moment because I was kind of like, is he pulling this thing, like the same thing that he did with Rose? And I don't know. I don't know if there's actually anything there, like if, of course, I haven't watched the second half, so I don't even know if Linda like sticks around. But yeah, I don't know. It was a little strange to me. Not strange in a way that I disliked it, but strange in a way where I was like, I wonder how this is gonna go. Like, I wonder how this is gonna play out later. And then when Jack and Linda had their little flirtatious thing going on, I was like, oh Jack, Pshaw, that guy. But yeah, was there anything else?
Nothing from me.
What about your least favorite part?
Well, now that we're talking about Linda, I wouldn't say that this is my absolute least favorite part, but I definitely kind of was like, why is this here? Not that, like, I'm against Linda as a character or against, like, her being there. But, like, we know that the Doctor's a bit of a flirt. We've seen him flirt with other female characters before. But at, like, the end of the season, this is, like, a two-parter, so it's not the last episode. But, like, this is supposed to be the culmination of his relationship with Rose and, like, all the build-up that's been happening, every little thing. And you're just gonna throw in another female character and have the Doctor be, like, flirtatious with her. Like, I don't know, what does that add? It didn't really add anything to me. Like, they didn't have to be flirty, you know? Like, it didn't have to be that way.
Yeah. Especially when we had Jack, like, literally a scene later being also flirty with her. I think it would have been an interesting... Or maybe, maybe it's just that Christopher Eccleston is charismatic and maybe he actually wasn't being that flirty, but it just comes across that way. But I think it was a little odd. Maybe it's supposed to, like, make you feel all the more kind of devastated with the Doctor when Rose gets, disintegrated, quote unquote, because, he's just been acting very flippant with someone else, and then he really sees not the consequences of his actions, but he's too little too late, and then he's like, oh man, I don't know. But that's kind of like a weak argument.
I mean, I kind of see what you're saying, though. It's like at that moment he sees like what really matters.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, not a weak argument from you, but a weak justification from Russell T Davies.
Russell T Davies.
He's interesting.
Yeah. And I liked this episode. It had the Russell T Davies camp, and it had the emotional stuff. And again, Sarah watched all these episodes at least once, but Sara very recently finished the second episode, but I'm still in the dark. So I have to wonder, because I don't even know if it feels like a finale to me yet as part one. Like, the stakes are pretty high considering all the, the Dalek stuff. Oh man, that one last Dalek was not actually the one last Dalek. But I don't know. Obviously, I'm glad that the Daleks are back. I thought it was very strange that they got rid of them in the Dalek episode because they're such an iconic Doctor Who villain. But I don't know. I think that might be my least favorite part, in that I'm not really sure where it's going. And I'm sure things will resolve once we get to the finale proper, like the second half. But I'm kind of just curious to see where we're going to go from here, is where I'm at. It's not a bad thing necessarily, but I was kind of left at the end of this episode like, okay.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think that I am on the same wavelength as you, on your worst part. I felt that the long game was such a weird episode to connect it to, and I get that the title is a nod towards the finale. Awesome. But, like, of all the episodes, why the long game? Like, why did we go back to Satellite 5? I get, like, in the story, it's like, what you did, like, on Satellite 5, all the news channels were gone and they were replaced with, like, reality TV that's, like, actually killing us. But it's, again, like, that's the problem with the long game, right? It was all tell and, like, no show. Like, they were just telling us what was happening, but they weren't really showing us what was happening. Right. And they're doing it again by, like, hearkening back to that. So I just, like, I don't see the greater vision here.
I feel like they even did this better in the last episode, which right now I don't know why I can't remember what it's called.
Boomtown.
Yes, Boomtown. I even feel like they did this somewhat better in Boomtown, which I know you have mixed feelings about this episode, but I think they did a better thing with hearkening back to the Unquiet Dead in Boomtown than they did harkening back to the long game and Bad Wolf, which I know it's not necessarily the same thing, because it's not like what's-her-face from I can't remember anything right now, but anyway, the Selene woman. It's not like this is something that could mean Armageddon for humanity, the fact that she used the rift to go back to Raxa Plaba, or was trying to at any rate, to go back to Raxacora Fallipatorius. Is that really what it is? Did I get it?
You were close.
Raxa?
Do you want to know?
Yeah, I want to know.
Raxacorico Fallipatorius.
Oh, there was another syllable in there. That's okay. I know how to say supercalifragilisticexpialidocious backwards, so
Ooh.
What's one more long word in the book? Yeah, it's Socodali Exafiligar Philocrepus. Mic drop. Bam.
Oh my god.
I know.
That's so impressive.
Thank you. But anyway, totally unrelated. But yeah, I don't know. It was kind of like trying to lend more significance to an insignificant episode. Like, maybe that's why the long game was so unsatisfying, because they had such big plans for it in the finale. But it still feels unsatisfying now, for all the reasons that you said, because it was so tell and no show. Even now, I mean, I don't know. I guess this is more showing in that people are trapped in these game shows that literally kill you. But I don't know. It still doesn't really tell me much about, like, humanity, right, greater humanity as a whole, and we're not really seeing the effects other than 3 television shows where people get, like, murdered or mutilated. I don't know. It would have been nice to see perhaps more, but not with as much detail. Like, we could have had these 3 for detail and then seen a wider scope of it.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, In the long game and in this episode, we are both just focused on one satellite, and we're looking down on Earth, and we, like, are told what life is like there, but we don't even get, like, just a few scenes, like, I don't know, showing more people in the satellite, showing people on Earth. You can't tell me that humanity has been set back and have the whole plot revolve around that in the long game, and then, like, continue talking about that point, and then continue to not show me how it's been set back. I mean, I guess with the game shows and everything, like, it did that. But, yeah, I don't know. Like you said, I want to see the scope of it. I want to see how people were affected by it. And I get that that's, like, hard to do, but I don't know, man. Like,
I mean, it's a 2-part episode.
I think that they could have found a way.
They could have done more with it. They had a ton of time. They could have done more.
Yeah.
Oh, well. I guess we'll see the end of it in the next episode. Like, I'm very curious to see if they come up with a satisfying conclusion, since it is the finale of the season also.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm excited to talk about it. I have, like, so many questions I want to ask you.
Yes.
That, not now. Yeah.
Yes. If I had actually done my homework and watched the episode like I literally told Sara that I would, then we probably wouldn't be in this situation. But I was too caught up on reading a speculative fiction book about Plato's Republic. And you know I can't get enough of Plato.
Classic grad student at UVM. Oh, wait, no, I shouldn't say that.
Oh, that I don't care. I mean, my name is like, you can, if you look up my name, which is on the podcast, you can see like my honors list and crap like that. And I'm presenting at a conference. Oh my god, I'm presenting at a conference next week. Oh my god.
Oh my god. Oh my god, next week?
Yeah, on Saturday. Actually, it's the paper that I was talking about in the Slitheen episode, the World War III episode. It's the same paper that I was talking about there.
Nice.
Wow. You can track continuity of my academic career through this podcast. Very crazy.
Dude, you know that, like, there's some rando out there that's gonna, like, listen and, like, actually track it, and I know that because, like, I am that rando often. Like, I'll try to, like, track the progression of, like, random fanfic writers' lives through, like, their Tumblr accounts to see, like, where they went with their writing and, like, if they're still writing and, like, if they're not, at what point they gave up and, like, why they gave up. I'm fucking crazy. Yeah.
I don't know. I think that's... I mean, maybe for a fanfic author, that is a little strange that you do that. But I'll oftentimes do that with, like, authors and actors. Or, like, artists that I admire. Like, if they haven't posted in a while, like, try and poke around their other sites and see if they, you know, did stuff. So, I don't know. I don't think it's that crazy. You could be, like, levels of crazy where you're shipping real people and, like, stalking all their social media accounts to see if they're, like... actually in a secret tryst or something. That would be a little much.
I feel like now I need to do that to prove that I'm crazy.
Oh, well,
I need to level up.
Sara, I don't think you need to prove that you're crazy because I do believe you. It's just this action that you're taking is not necessarily the craziest thing that you've ever done. You don't need to prove to me that you're crazy.
Doubled over in pain, like clutching at my innards.
Beginning of the episode talking about Jane Lynch. Yeah, do you want to run that back? No, I'm joking. That's not crazy. That's normal.
I don't know. That was someone else.
Yeah?
Listen, sometimes my shadow self creeps into where I am and swishes places with me. I have no recollection of what you're talking about.
You're not a Gemini. You can't pull that card.
No, but I'm a Pisces, and it's the two fishes, so it's like the dark fish.
That's true. Maybe that's why we get along so well, is because I'm a Gemini and you're a Pisces, and you got the two fish thing, and I got the two people thing going on.
That is a thing in astrology. Pisces and Gemini do get along well. Maybe it's because of that, yeah.
Well, there you go. Very nice. Well, anyway.
There you go.
I think that's about it for this episode, unless you have anything else.
I have a couple more things.
Okay, yeah, let's hear them. Rapid fire.
Not a question. I just wanted to give a shout out to the controller. The actress was fantastic.
Yes.
The costume design and the SFX makeup with all the holes in her body.
Dude.
That was crazy. And the set design on floor 500 with all those tubes and like the lighting, like that was fantastic. I thought that was super cool.
It was a major upgrade. It was so awesome. They did have a lot of really cool practical effects with the long game also, with Satellite 5. I liked the set design. Even though there was the thing with all the like random skeletons on floor 500 in the in the long game, but they do a pretty good job with like the enclosed industrial set, like the spaceship set. It usually looks pretty good, and the controller looked awesome. Mwah, chef's kiss.
I wrote in my notes, imagine like you're at work and you need to like ask your boss a question and you like go up like 500 floors and it's this like weird like albino like hooked up to like a million wires who's like reciting numbers. Like, what do you even do?
Well, that's exactly what it's like when I go to tech support at UVM. I'm like, hey, like one of the charging ports in my laptop's broken, and they're like, 0100100010. I don't know if that actually spells something out.
Return to work.
Oh man.
I'm like acting as if I might actually know what that would spell out in binary.
In binary code. That'd be great. Well, if one of you listeners is fluent in binary code, let me know if I said a letter or perhaps a phrase. Comment down below.
I don't believe in the binary anyway.
So true. Doctor, what's gender?